Denny, you asked Mark about the TAO community. Um, Mark, weren't you in a meeting the other day between the TAO Foundation and devs and THORChain about getting a
Yes, I
BitTensor
was.
pool?
Yeah, I
And
didn't
I,
know
I
I
couldn't.
didn't know they were being public about that. So I haven't mentioned it.
Oh
I'm
no,
glad
I
we
think
are
it's.
though.
Oh
I think
shoot.
it's great.
Well,
No, it's fine. I mean, it was done now.
okay. Well, it's too late. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well, I mean, nothing
it's
is official, but you guys are
no.
talking, and I couldn't make that meeting. But the point was just to nothing was decided. It's just let's start having the conversation,
Well,
and
I showed up on your doorstep like a year ago, and I was like, "Hey, THORChain, you should, we should basically be enabling THORChain on Bittensor." And you guys you weren't interested yet because Vic, and I understand why. Like it just wasn't a priority, right? And so
well,
because it
there's
wasn't
other
big enough
issues
yet.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Bittensor, frankly, wasn't where it is today. It wasn't nearly as sort of big or in the public consciousness the way it is now. So, so now when you guys came back, I was like, oh, look who came crawling back. So, oh, look, it's
No,
Chad
it's good.
Fairford
Well,
knocking on my door.
Mark,
we
in our slight defense, a year ago, we got kicked in the nuts as hard as we've ever been kicked in our life. So I think we're like all
Yeah,
messed up,
no,
but
I know.
that's hilarious. Yeah, we come back slithering on our belly.
That's
We
right.
actually love you. We're so sorry. Yeah, that's okay. We'll eat that crow. We'll eat that crow for sure.
Yeah, we're kind of under new management now, so
Yes, sir.
I like to think we're a different view on things and different motivations to get different things done, and I believe adding new chains like Tau is one of those things we want to move
Yes.
forward. So really appreciate you, Mark, being that ambassador, bridging that gap, being involved with that meeting. Hopefully, some more coming on the podcast right now. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Yes.
appreciate that. I appreciate you guys doing this. All jokes aside, I was extremely happy when you guys showed up because I have long wanted personally, just for my own usage, a onboarding pathway for raw Bitcoin, raw native Bitcoin into raw native Tau. I can't do it right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
other than
Yeah.
using a centralized exchange. There is no way.
Yeah.
And
Unacceptable.
We're
Let's fix this.
this is
Unacceptable.
this is something that is a bit for adding new chains on THORChain can sometimes be a bit of a debate. Is well, we add these chains, but then they become zombie pools. No one's trading in them. Nobody knows about them. Whatever. So we had a BitTensor pool. We know Mark's going to use it. Do you have any insight? Can you any kind of feel that would there be other people that want to use it? Do you think how would it be received in the BitTensor community? Would
people
they
will love
be
it.
okay?
Yeah. I mean, I think the bulk of the usage will come. So what I think is going to happen is I think we're in this little gestation moment right now. Sort of like the way, I don't know, you guys remember Ethereum, like when it first launched, right? Like it kind of bobbled around between $6 and $12 for a long time, for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, blip, 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 blip. We got Vitalik out there going, world computer. And everyone's like, we don't care. Who fucking cares? What's
Yeah.
this? What is this useful for?
The
Turned out
maxis
it
were
was,
in full force back then too. It's a
yeah,
scam. Don't touch it. Yeah.
there was a lot
Yeah.
of sort of that going on, right?
Yeah.
And then sort of something happened where, the ICO phase happened, right? And all of a sudden we knew what it was good for, at least one use case, making new tokens and frankly, capital formation. There's a lot of bad capital formation, but there's also a lot of good ones, right? And the earth had not seen this sort of Kickstarter, ish way of booting up new coins, right? And there was a lot that was really great about that, a lot that was horrible, but also a lot that was great. And then we had the DeFi era, like maybe a year or two after that, where we got decentralized exchanges and decentralized lending and some other things, right? And stable coins, right? So it turned out a lot of those financial primitives were also very good developments and very useful things that were booted up on top of Ethereum. And we saw the price of Ethereum go from $6 to $12 to like 120 to 250 to 1,000, then up to like 4,500, right? Sort of at its peak. And it sort of happened real fast, right? Like this sort of flywheel got going because there were all these new protocols built on top of Ethereum. And the only way you could get in on the ICOs or buy into the new protocols was to have Ethereum. That same dynamic is true in Tau. In order to buy Tau subnets, you have to have Tau, the coin. And there's no real easy way to get Tau to coin except to KYC or use a centralized exchange. There are a lot of people that don't like that or can't do that because they're in XYZ country or whatever. So you're not in that moment. We're not in that frenzy moment yet on Bittensor, but I think that frenzy moment happens this year. And I think once that happens, if people realize, some of these other people suddenly that want to get into to Bittensor and the subnets, they'll need TAO. They'll be like, well, I got a bunch of Bitcoin. How can I buy these subnets? Oh, I could just use THORChain, Bitcoin to TAO, TAO to subnet. Now I have a pathway in. So I think it's a bet on those people who aren't here yet, but they will be soon. I think that's
I
what's going on.
You just
um
sold me. I'm like, we got to prioritize Tao. We got to get this going.
oh dude,
Um,
100%.
yeah,
I'm curious. Okay, so all right, so it's on a centralized exchange, and that is essentially the Oracle price, right? Whatever the centralized exchange. And for those, obviously
Correct.
centralized exchange
Yeah.
is it's a black box. You don't you know what I mean? You don't know what's going on really. With Thorchain though, then this is a natural market at this point because it- uh oh man, I'm sorry, my mind is just my wheels are turning right now. So this is great. We got to add Tau, you guys. Let's add frickin' Tau. I'm on board. You know what I mean? Because yeah, this is totally unacceptable that you guys do not have a way to go layer one to layer one. You have to switch IOUs on a frickin' sex, and
Yeah.
the subnets, the whole network itself is doing such incredible things, but there's a centralized entity to it. That's not the vision of Tau. I know that's not your vision. That's what you want, Mark. I mean, especially you write this book of Bitcoin talking about this decentralized, free, open, fair, permissionless ethos.
Yeah.
You got this is a match made in heaven right here. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like privacy coming on Thorchain. It's a match made in heaven.
and
LFG.
you couldn't said it any better too. You have Bitcoin, you want to buy Tao. You have Bitcoin, you want to buy something else with it, and it's like this is how I, pitch it to other layer ones. I'm like, do you want to tap into $1 trillion of liquidity? Like,
Oh,
you
yes.
can't get it on any other DEX than THORChain, like, and because there's a lot of Bitcoin that doesn't wanna touch centralized exchanges, right? That's its own kinda own world,
That's right.
and, you're cutting yourself off from, or, however many billions of liquidity from Bitcoin, and, like, that's the whole reason companies wanna get listed on the New York Stock Exchange or in the US in general, is to access capital, access liquidity, and THORChain is the largest Bitcoin DEX in the world. Like, it can do tens million, easily 5, $10 million Bitcoin trades. Um, you want access to that, you want your L1 to get access to that liquidity, it's THORChain. So, um, that's, and it's funny, because I bring out some L1s, they kind of, the devs look at me funny. I'm like, how do you not get that? Um,
Oh, I get
so
exactly what you're saying. I feel like, I also feel like with BitTensor, because of the Bitcoin like ethos of it, like you guys know Barry Silbert, obviously, right? Like he has said that the thing that he's he hasn't been this excited about a new thing. Like he's excited about BitTensor, and he says I haven't been this excited since Bitcoin. So because it feels sort of similar, right? Obviously the tokenomics, but also the ethos and sort of the reinvention of mining, making mining programmable is a completely new thing. Nobody's done that before,
yeah.
right? So I think it excites the imagination of the Bitcoin people specifically. There's a lot of Bitcoin people that will never invest in anything else other than BitTensor, right? Because it's the only other thing that feels kind of similar, right? So
Well,
Yes.
this was my journey at THORChain, because I heard Eric Voorhees talk about not being
yeah,
excited since the first learning of Bitcoin. Because I was thinking about it too. I'm like, when I figured out THORChain, I was like, God, this is huge. How do other people not know about this? And I saw Eric talking about it. And I'm like, okay, some good confirmation bias. But it's Mark, it's funny because I kind of started a thing to try to get a meme thing going in THORChain, the prophecy of Threeth, the prophecy of Threeth, which is the THORChain becoming the third largest crypto by market cap. And my reasoning was that Binance BNB token was the third largest market cap token at one point. And if THORChain is decentralized Binance, it can be bigger, right, than
yeah,
Binance. And so why can't its market cap be bigger one day? And so that was my justification for THORChain being the third largest crypto. But you also, if I correct me if I'm wrong, I'll do some googling on you. You think Bittensor could be the third most important crypto, which in
I
turn
do.
I would assume could be the third largest market cap crypto. Um, uh,
Sounds plausible for sure.
Yeah, I
am I?
call it the third. You're absolutely right. Frequently referred to it as the third great coin, alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I think of it more like in terms of the innovation, right? So you have Bitcoin, and then you have Ethereum, which built out the smart contract side of Bitcoin, and sort of made a whole world over here, and then Bittensor, which makes the mining programmable and builds out this whole little world over here, right? And that's a very different little world from this one. So and I think we have not explored this half of Bitcoin, right? So I feel like it's, in terms of importance and technical innovation, it is the third great coin. I mean, I love all the other things are more like we're faster, right?
Yeah,
Or we're
yeah,
more
exactly.
private.
Right.
Like privacy is also one of the other things now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, tell you what, you can have third. We Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bittensor, and
yeah,
then THORChain will take fourth.
We'll take
for
fourth,
sure.
buddy.
We're the liquidity between the three. And that's it.
That's pretty
We'll be
big.
the fourth. We'll be the
Yeah,
fourth.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
be the fourth great coin. There you go.
may the fourth be with us, buddy. That's fine
yeah.
with me. I'll take it. No big deal. You know what I'm saying?